Hey, what's up, YouTube? It's the Dead Noob. I know I missed my weekend release. I was pretty busy this week. A lot of VA appointments. I didn't realize I was going to have so many all up at one time. Maybe I should have paid attention better in the brief. I don't know. But at least I'm getting them done, because if you don't, you can be sitting around waiting for months on end to get appointments taken care of. So, and I do have a bunch of them coming up next week and the week after that. So videos may be very sporadic. However, what I want to go ahead and cover this week is what I saw on the Gray Zone stream. That was only 45 minutes. I didn't even realize they were doing one. Apparently there was a gamer convention or a games convention in Czechoslovakia or somewhere close to them, where Madfinger is housed. So they were at that, and they did talk about the future of Gray Zone. And the lead developer, Marek, I don't know. I'm probably fucking his name up. Anyway, they discussed a bunch of topics, and I wanted to go ahead and tell you what they said, and then my opinion on each one. And I'll go ahead and cover them right down the list. So the future of Gray Zone will include crafting. Now, crafting, they didn't get into how you're going to craft or what specifically you're going to be able to craft. I'm going to assume that pretty much anything in the game is going to be craftable. I don't know how it is that they're going to implement this. I'm pretty, because I've seen in the game where there's specific materials laying around, like you have a cordless drill, a wrench, hammers, grinders. You've got crafting materials like fabrics. You have the camo pattern fabric and stuff like that. You've got tape. You've got all kinds of different stuff laying around. So I'm assuming that all of that eventually is going to play into the crafting. But that being said, where are you going to craft? Well, they got into that too. There's going to be a hideout added. They didn't say when these were going to come, because they did mention the next two patches, but the crafting and the hideout weren't part of that discussion. With the hideout, I'm beginning to wonder if it's going to have not just the crafting capability in there, but what's going to be in your hideout that you need to upgrade. Very Tarkov-esque, very Incursion Red River. You know, they both have that kind of mechanic involved. Does that include that there's going to be a skill tree now? Are you going to be able to craft the top tier gear in your hideout, provided you have enough level for stuff? I don't know exactly how it is that that's going to work. Hopefully they increase the squad size and they but add a Black Hawk instead of the Little Bird, to where you can take 6-man teams or 5-man teams in instead of just the standard 4. I'm saying that for a specific reason. I'll get to that later. One of the other things that they did mention that they are going to include private servers. Now, I don't know exactly what that private server is going to be restricted to, such as loot. And the reason I say that is because if you have a private server that has the entire world's loot in it, and you go in just as a 4-man team or solo and have your own server, can you transfer that loot to your main account? Can you transfer loot from your main account to your private server? How is that going to work? That's really the question. I don't think you should be able to, but it's on them and how that is that they want to do it. And I say that because it's already difficult enough to get some of the stuff off the bosses as it is. I'm still looking for that operations card that you're supposed to get out of Fort Nerith. So there's that. And then the other one was squad tasks. Now, they touched on this briefly simply because they already announced that it's going to happen and it is coming in the next update. They didn't say exactly when that was. They just said expect it soon. I don't know what that means. They didn't really timestamp things. I don't blame them, because if they shoot short and, you know, if people get mad if you say, hey, I can do that tomorrow. Oh, by the way, I ran into a problem. I'm not going to be able to do it till next week. Gamers are, you can't tell nerds nothing. You put a time on something, they want it on that time, and they will be looking for it specifically at that time. So you can't say things like time. So I get the whole roundabout this time, or maybe in a month, maybe in 2 months, maybe in a year, sometime next week, sometime next month. So I get that adage. But squad tasks are definitely coming up. They'll be in the next update from what they said during their little stream. One of the other things was they were going to increase the size of the conflict zone. I don't know exactly what the conflict zone looks like. I've never done any of the PvP stuff. So for you PvP people out there you go. They're going to increase the size of the conflict zone. I don't know if it's maps and personnel or just the map size or just the people. If they didn't allude specifically, but he did say something about including the size of the map. So the map is probably going to get an increase, which means player base will probably get an increase too. I'm not sure. But I mean, hey, anything that's going to be an upgrade to the PvP area, hopefully PvPers out there are going to be extremely happy about that. In-game content. They did say that they are currently working on in-game content, structure, storyline, task progression, all of it. So everything is going towards an in-game content of some sort. I don't know what that's going to look like. I'm pretty sure it's going to include that the ground zero area in the middle of the map at some point. Probably find out what happened, how it happened, who did it, and whatnot. So look forward to that. And the lead dev, Merrick, did state, and this one kind of blew my mind a little bit, that the current task structure and content in the game should only take a player or a team of players, squad, about a week to 10 days to complete. That the goal was to introduce players to the gray zone game, the mechanics, the economy, the loot structure, how things flowed in the game. If you include getting all vendors to level 4, bullshit. There's no way you're going to be able to do that in a week. I promise you can't. There is no way. There's not enough tasks for Artisan, Turncoat, and Banshee to complete them in a week. There's no way. No way. It took me more than a week just to get them to level 2. So I completely disagree with that analogy. But if he's saying just to understand the game, a week to 10 days to complete all of the main quest lines for each of the vendors, yeah, okay, I could see that, because that'll get you all the way through. If you're very astute and very determined and stay busy on it, I could see a week to 10 days through Midnight Sapphire too, and Tiger Bay. Yeah, probably. Yeah, if you're running around with 3-4 man team, yeah, sure, absolutely. All right, moving along to another topic. Income mechanics. They were hinted at very briefly. He said it in a one sentence, never mentioned it again. I don't know what that means. I don't know if they're going to change the way the income mechanics operate. Increases, decreases in monetary values. It may have something to do with the durability. I know they said that they were changing the durability of some weapons. Hopefully changing the durability on all of them. You repair the thing way too frequently. But there's that part. So look forward to that. They didn't say much on it, so I really can't, I can't pontificate about it because, well, they didn't say anything other than a one-line sentence. They did say that they are looking at least a year before the full release of the game. Now, with the full release of the game, you're also going to get the addition of the console players. That's already been discussed and stated as a matter of fact when it comes to Gray Zone. When the full release of the game comes out, they are going to code it for PlayStation and Xbox. That many players being on servers at the same time, I don't know what that's going to look like, how the crossplay is going to be effective. I don't see Gray Zone being very compatible with controllers. There's too many functions. It could be a very stripped down version. I'm not sure. I don't think it currently has controller support. I'm not sure. It might. I don't use controllers, so I don't know. I stopped using controller when I bought my PC. And then Ground Zero content. They did mention this, and they were giddy. I mean, they were having a blast talking about the Ground Zero content. They didn't say what they were planning on, but I believe that it's tied into in-game content as well. So they were extremely excited about it. And I don't know if there's going to be a early release of anything to do in the ground zero area prior to the full release of the game. I'm assuming there will be, simply because they want to test it before they release the full version of the game. But that right there sounds exciting. I don't know how it is the mechanics are going to work in there, because currently you have to take those little potassium pills to kind of get rid of the radiation sickness. And Ground Zero currently only has like a couple of little tasks where you have to run in there. One of them for one of the weapons, for the hidden weapons in the game. So you've got that part that introduces you to Ground Zero. But if you go beyond those little camps that sit on the very outer rim, there's little signs up there that say, poison ahead, nuclear fallout, whatnot. That right there tells me that there's going to have some kind of protection that keeps you alive, at least for a limited time, while you're in there, like, a gas mask or some kind of equipment, or maybe a stim shot that keeps you from getting radiation sickness while you're in there for, say it works for 15 minutes or whatnot, so on and so forth. Maybe take 4 or 5 of those with you just so you can stay in there for an hour. One of the other things was the Madfinger company is actually hiring. So for anybody out there that is extremely interested in being an AI programmer, an AI lead programmer, or have experience or anything going on in that realm, they are hiring for the AI programmer and programming lead. Specifically, go to the Madfinger Games website. They will definitely be willing to take your application. I don't know if you're going to have to move to Czechoslovakia. I'm going to assume the position that you will, or at least, live in Europe. I'm not sure. Maybe they can do remote. Don't quote me on that. Oh, they're also looking for a Q&A lead as well. So if you have any experience in those fields, hit them up. You could probably work for one of the best development teams I've personally experienced in my entire gaming history. They're very transparent. They talk to their fans. Their Discord is very lively. You can interact with them pretty upfront. They are on all social media platforms, and they do respond from time to time. I mean, they're not going to respond to all the bull crap that comes at them, I'm sure, but they do respond, and they do talk about things, and they have made very specific changes to the game based on player feedback. So they're one of the few developing teams out there that do listen to their player base and do make changes accordingly, provided that they can. I mean, if everybody said, well, you got to make them like this or that, they did increase the difficulty of the AI, because a lot of people were complaining that they were just kind of like roving targets. They were simple to kill, very easy to manage and manipulate. Now they react to contact. The only difference that I've seen that's a negative is they've become extremely bullet spongy. And I'll show you this picture right here. Now, this was done with an AK-308 at less than 50 meters in Tiger Bay. The dude's obviously wearing soft armor. Kinetic energy from 50 meters or less from a 7.62 by 51. There's no way 13 rounds. There's not a snowball's chance in hell. Now, the arm hits are not from him standing still taking rounds to the arms. It's when they do that little, like if you hit them and they duck down, they kind of like, oh, I got hit. When they do that, I'm still shooting them. Even though a lot of times those bullets miss, or they don't show any damage to the character. I don't know what's going on there to where the graphic has to play, but the round won't interact until after that motion is completed. Something in the programming needs to change there. I'll go ahead and report that one, but I got to get it recorded first. That pretty much kills it for this week. I was going to talk about Call of Duty, but I really don't care. Activision has just left a sour taste in my mouth for the last decade. So, yeah, I'm done spending any money there. They can, if you're a fan, hey, have at it. I'm not going to tell you how to spend your money. Just don't get mad when they treat it like crap in 30 to 60 days afterwards, which tends to be their modus operandi. All right. So There it is, noobs. Which one of these little topics are you most excited for? Personally, I'm really interested in what's going to happen with the hideout and crafting. So yeah, I'm really excited about that. The second thing would probably be the end game content and what it is they have planned for the future. All right. So let me know down in the comments which one you're most excited for, what you think is actually going to happen. Because, I mean, I have my own ideas, but we'll never know until the devs tell us what they have planned. And yeah, that'll do it for this week, noobs. So be good at it. I'm out.